the minister then of Water and Irrigation, Cicely Kariuki, went and launched the project. But the day she launched the project, it was the last time that project, implementation of that project, ended the same day. When I was elected as a member of parliament, the first thing, even before I was sworn in, I held a meeting with the CEO of National Irrigation Authority, the then Mogambi, is now a PS Forestry, and we had a discussion on how we can ensure this project is implemented. Mogambi gave me a story on why the project, despite being launched by the minister, it could not be implemented because of so many reasons. The contract was called off. They terminated the contract because of so many other reasons, political and financial. So I had to start afresh, negotiating with the government of Kenya to get an allocation of 284 million.
When it was launched, had money been allocated to this particular project at the time of launching? Or are we launching projects that we haven't allocated money to, or we've already allocated money to?
The thing is, the reason which Mogambi, the CEO, then gave me, that the reasons why the project will not be implemented, is that the contract they signed with the contractor, then there were price variations. The prices of the pipes which are installed in that in the irrigation scheme, their prices went up than what the contractor had quoted because of changes in petroleum prices. Okay, remember some of these pipes are manufactured through petroleum products, so there was group of changes of petroleum product, and therefore changes of the prices of the pipes. So what the contractor quoted and the actual prices when the project was being implemented were totally different. And if contractor...
So a contract had been signed then?
Sorry?
A contract had been signed during the first particular launch?
Yes, it was signed. And therefore, the contractor said he cannot be able to implement this project because of the changes of prices. And now they went through the process of terminating the contract.
Okay.
And we also went through the process of allocating more money to take care of the new prices of the project. So it's a fresh, brand new Kanyombora irrigation project, which we thank, which we thank President for, and he came and he launched that project.
Okay.
That is exactly what happened. The second project which President launched is a 19-kilometer tamaking of road, Kanyombora, Kamomo, Siakago project, and the contractor is on site, Steko, implementing, tamaking the road. The other project which President launched in my constituency is last mile connectivity, deep interior. I have 684 villages in my constituency which has never had electricity. If you multiply every village with 100 households, how many are those?
So
the last mile connectivity, we are progressing very well in terms of ensuring the people of Bere North get power.
All right, so
and
that
we
is noted.
thank this administration for that. This is something which other administrations have not done.
Okay,
remember, in my constituency, we have less than 10% of kilometers which are tarmac.
Let
me
say
total
this.
number of kilometers. We have 771 square kilometers, you know, square kilometers.
Let me say
area,
this.
the size of Bere North.
Okay, so let me confirm to the people of Bere North who are listening to their member of parliament today that the government led by President William Ruto has hired him to come and lie to Kenyans. When the president was in Mbeere, when he was campaigning to be president, on the 1st of July 2022,
my brother,
he held a rally at...
You know,
wait, just 1 minute.
I respect the people in Bere North.
No, let me just say this.
The people in Bere North voted me to be...
On the 1st of July...
You know, and some issues, some novice issues I will not take.
On the 1st of July 2022...
Just a moment.
On the 1st of July.
But you see, he has to withdraw some of these
Okay, I withdraw.
You know, you have to withdraw some of these shenanigans.
I withdraw.
We are on a national platform. We are talking on serious things. We are talking on serious things. He has to be serious.
Let me.
Yes.
This is very serious.
Well noted, kindly.
This is very serious. I withdraw the injection. Let me now inject a bigger injection. I've withdrawn the small injection that I was injecting you with. Let me inject a bigger one. On the 1st of July 2022, President William Ruto held a rally at Ishiara, Mbeere North, his constituency. And this is what he said. Nyinyi watu wa hapa Ishiara, mimi nataka kuwaahidi.
President was not in Ishiara in July.
Well,
in July 2022. 1st of July.
He's talking about the campaign period.
The proof is here. William Ruto live from Ishiara. 1st July 2022. Are you still denying?
Before elections.
I can even show you the video. He was campaigning to be president.
Elections.
Okay,
this is what he said.
He was not president.
Okay. This is what he said.
Yes, he was not president then.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Nyinyi watu wa hapa Ishiara, mimi nataka kuwaahidi kwamba hapa Ishiara hapa tutajenga KMTC ya hapa Ishiara. Ni kweli si kweli? Sijui kama tunaelewana. I want to ask the people of Mbeere North who are watching me this morning. Do you have a KMTC at Ishiara which President William Ruto promised you? Because we are talking about fake promises. Promises that are said but never materialized. I've already told Kenyans this morning that pending bills is a problem that the political class have created themselves. And the reason they've created that problem is both pending bills is for corruption. I want to tell you about a project. I want to shock Kenyans this morning. Let me just shock you. Let me take your blood pressure to 170 this morning and tell you this. That at Thwake Dam, Makueni County, a contractor was paid 236 million Kenya shillings extra. Not part of what he was supposed to be paid for work.
So how much was he supposed to be paid for? For
interest. The 236 million was interest for late payment. 236 million Thwake Dam, Makueni County. And to date, you know, the project is still incomplete. He has been paid 236 million extra. Yani juu ya ile pesa he was supposed to be paid for just interest that, you know, we were late to pay you kidogo, we are adding you 236 million just on top. We are losing a lot of public funds through pending bills, and it is very intentional. It's corruption.
How much was he supposed to be paid initially?
I may have to read the Auditor General's report on Thwake Dam so that I give you those facts. Enough, just 2 minutes, I'll give you those facts.
Okay, as you look for that, pending bills and breach is where the corruption is at. Because if there is money for a project and you have started paying money for the project, it's only moral, if we don't even go to the legal nitty-gritties, that a contractor would have performed, or rather would have done the project substantially to justify payment, or even claim payment, or even for interest to start accumulating. Because that's when you claim it's late. Like, you have a contract, the first payment will be made at this stage of the contract. That stage has not been attained. You're already earning interest on it. The very fact
is that an illegality?
It is, because at what point do you claim payment? Because if there is a contract and there is breach, you cannot claim damages. But we see a scenario where for the Kenyan projects that are running, the breach is very intentional, that wewe fanya kazi, or even if you don't do, then the time lapses, interest starts accruing, then you go and sue for breach. That's the entire chain I was talking about. Because the moment you sue for breach, you get the damages. Those damages that you get, because they are not anybody's money, they are Kenyan money, the taxpayers' monies. That is where now everyone gets their cut. For every little, and it is from those interests that are earned that again people get their shares, and then, I mean, it is what we're doing as a country is immoral.
There is one thing that Honorable Geoffrey Ruku has not told us about Kanyombora irrigation scheme that President William Ruto launched twice. He is not telling us how much was launched
Kanyombora project.
The first one was launched in 2021.
There is something he is not being honest about. The contract for the first contractor was terminated. I want him to be honest on live television today and tell Kenyans how much the contractor was paid for doing nothing. The first contractor who was terminated.
Will you respond to that?
I don't know how much the contractor was paid, the first one, but the moment you terminate in a contract, there are obligations. And that's what I'm saying. We need a role as Parliament of the Republic of Kenya we are failing Kenyans to some extent.
So
we are failing Kenyans to some extent. We are not providing judiciary, our judiciary, with proper laws which can ensure that public resources are not lost at, will. We need laws in place which can take care of some of these issues which I agree with.
Most of the projects that we are actually relaunching at this particular moment and the contracts that are no longer in place, then we've lost money in that particular project. If we decide to do a fresh particular contract,
the law of contracts
on some of these particular projects, then money
the law of contract is clear. You enter into a contract, you don't meet your bargain, then you stand to pay damages. Whether in private business or in public affairs, we have a problem in this country as far as managing of our public, liabilities, managing our liability, whether internal or external, managing the way we borrow, managing the way locally or internationally, the way we are managing our contracts with contractors, we have a problem there. The Law of Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act of 2015, it requires serious calibration. It requires serious simulations so that it can take care of some of these issues. And that's why I proposed 72 amendment of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. Remember, even the issue of Anti-Corruption and Economic Crime Act amendment, which I proposed, there are two ones there. Willing free and prior planning, which are not defined in any law. And those two ones have been used by corrupt individuals in the Republic to escape free. Why is it that we are seeing many people who have been accused, their cases are withdrawn or they are acquitted, and in actual fact, public resources were lost in the process. We need as Parliament to give Kenyans proper laws, which one will make corruption very painful, two, which will ensure when you have a public office, you have to take your work extremely seriously. When you are signing a contract, you must have done your research properly. You must have allocated all the resources in place and ring-fence those resources that they cannot be redirected to other projects. So that project can be implemented and completed.
Now these are laws that you're pushing for.
We have seen where you are given the first payment,
are these laws
10%, then after that, there's no other payment and you do some work, you are not paid, you go to court, you are paying serious damages, huge amount of damages. Who pays those damages? I get your point. It's the public, it's the people of Kenya. So we need a law to ensure, which will ensure if you are a public officer and you enter into that, you take responsibility. And that is what I'm working on.
I get your point. I'm totally running out of time. A second before I bring in...
Honorable Geoffrey Ruko should know that there is no shortage of laws.
Do we have factory asset management? Kenya government, Kenya. You know when you say there is no shortage of law,
he's not a lawyer.
When you say there is no shortage of
give him a minute. Give him a minute. Just give him a minute.
Listen, my brother.
Can I educate him?
Listen, my brother.
Let him finish his point, and you're going to rebut on that.
I have been in school of law.
I
have been in school of law.
I totally understand.
I have done pieces, several units in law. Listen, today there is $20 billion trade of virtual asset in the Republic of Kenya. Kenya government does not get not even $1 out of that trade. Why? Because there's no law which is regulating the virtual asset trading in the Republic of Kenya.
What I'm talking about...
How can you sit here and say that there is enough laws in the Republic of Kenya?
What I want to say is, there are enough laws to prevent corruption in Kenya. There is no shortage of laws. Remember, countries like the United Kingdom, they don't even have a constitution. There is no shortage of laws in Kenya to prevent anti-corruption. The problem that we have in Kenya is lack of willingness to fight corruption. Because all these politicians, they are involved. They get some of this money from these contractors. They steal our public funds. They are not willing to fight corruption genuinely. And that is why they keep us in the monkey business of trying to tell us that, oh, you know, the reason this corruption is not ending is because we don't have a certain law. We don't have a certain law. There are already so many laws. Okay. Implement those ones first.
Okay, thank you. Brenda, for final remarks on this one, on this conversation.
On the matter of individual, I think it's time we moved to hold individual responsibility on the people who make sure that we lose public monies. Okay. Because if we continue with the blame game, oh, this was a project that the contractor was paid, but it was during the last administration, or it was during my predecessor's time. But public monies continue being lost. That's the major reason I was saying it is wrong for us to continue politicizing government projects. Governments exist perpetually. So if you do politics with it, you feel uncomfortable continuing or finishing a project that was launched by your predecessor. Then what does it tell of you as an individual? Okay. It means it's not for the people. So it is for you. If you find a project that was on course, complete it. Do not start saying this one was launched by whatever. No, you want to start a totally different project.
All right. I'm totally out of time, but I want to take a minute here to take a look at something different. And this, you see, it's been making, ever since we said we are having a conversation with you, some people have been asking this particular question, and it has to be with the Assembly and Demonstrations Bill 2024. There are claims that it has been withdrawn, but we see again it is in the second reading. What do you have to say on that, and what pushed for this particular bill?
The National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya, or the Parliament, has requested Kenyans to send memoranda up to 9th of September. As far as the Assembly and Demonstration Bill is concerned, I'm requesting all Kenyans to read the bill from preamble to the last section to understand, and to send memorandums to the respective parliamentary committee. A lot of people, so that the parliamentary committee can consider those memoranda. We will be going around the country. Okay, so this is the thing.
Kenyans, when people are reading this particular bill, what they are getting from it is that you're pushing for a law to jail them for protesting without a permit. Clarification?
No. There is nowhere the Assembly and Demonstration Bill requires Kenyans to get permit. Instead, it says Section 3 that there's no permit or authorization which is required, or even money which is required for someone to organize the picketing, demonstrating, or presentation.
Oh, so petition. How is it different from whatever we've been having?
What it says is that the right of your right, begins where my right ends. You have to be able to carry out your normal business when demonstrations are ongoing. We don't need to close our businesses in Nairobi or in any town because demonstrations are there. We don't need to close hospitals and roads because demonstrations are going.
Okay, so should be able to demonstrate. Do we need to have designated places for protest?
We should be in a position to do demonstrations in a peaceful manner, in an armed manner, and you don't affect the right of the other person to carry on his or a normal business. So how if my business is matatu, if my business,
what is the proposal when it comes to not preventing someone from carrying out their businesses? Because if we say we are going to be demonstrating on this particular road, let's say Haile Selassie, then there are matatus that are applying that particular route. How do you prevent people from, not carrying out their
businesses? If it is Haile Selassie, of course the police will come in place and say from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. you can't use this road because we have allocated this road to demonstrations.
So that means you will not be allowed to go to any other place if you are at all.
Yes, we designate. Actually, we want even to amend this bill to ensure somewhere near State House we can have demonstration corner where if you are so angry, with the State House, whoever is occupying the State House, you can go at that corner and demonstrate there the whole day from 6 a.m. to evening. So we need to have organized. Listen, Kenya is a democratic country. Right. Kenya is a democratic country. We need to have organized, civil, democratic nation where we respect rights of each and every person.
I get
those who are demonstrating.
Thank you
so much.
Let me say this.
Thank you so much.
Let me say this.
30 seconds, kindly.
Okay. Honorable Geoffrey Ruko, you are a true son of your father, William Ruto. You lied to Kenyans.
My father is...
you lied to Kenyans.
My father is Lawrence Keringa Gauge.
You lied to Kenyans that you've withdrawn.
William Samoei Ruto is my president.
You lied
to
Kenyans.
He's the president of the Republic of Kenya. My father.
All right.
You lied
public record.
You lied to Kenyans that he lied to Kenyans that he has withdrawn.
Is my father.
He lied to Kenyans that he has withdrawn that assemblies and demonstration bill. He is now confirming this morning that it is still on course. Okay. So he is a true son of his father, William Ruto, when it comes to lying. Because he said he has withdrawn it.
Thank you so much, gentlemen and lady. Thank you so much for your time. This is the thing. Do I have a minute for feedback?
I have a different father. William Ruto.
Okay, I don't have a minute for feedback. I would have loved to read your feedback, but my director, John Kasavuli, says we are totally out of time. Thank you so much for making time for this conversation here on A New Dawn. Let's do this again next time. Do have yourselves a lovely morning. And of course, up next is Morning Vibe with Remy Majala.